1995. Hello again, it's me, I'm back again, woo-hoo, yeah, so there has been a break in the case for some of the movies I've anguished over getting my hands on for this here 1995 project. Remember how in my Lost Media video I talked about how, particularly for 7 Steps to Sticky Heaven, some grave digging was possible? Well, it was much more possible than I could have imagined. You see, I took to the streets of r/movies with that video. And one of the responses was like, yo, libraries are actually a clandestine international cult, bro. They got this whole underground market where you can go to a library with a request and they can call up their friends on speed dial, and then bam! It's signed, sealed, and delivered. No strings attached other than you better bring it back to the library, Buster. Okay, user MEATL didn't actually say all of that in that way, but if I knew libraries could do this, I forgot they could. And I'm a grad student, so I have super library access. Yeah, man, I can get the good stuff. That's some pure papyrus right there. So I tried it with 7 Steps, and it worked out! Seeing as this work happens to be passed around academic circles, my existence in academia may have been vital to my getting a copy of the film. Well, maybe I'm giving myself too much credit. I mean, it's entirely possible I could have just went to a public library way back when the random number generator first assigned me this flick years ago, but hey, I didn't know. Now I do. The movie doesn't even have a listing on Letterboxd, bro. Give me a break. Now, the most recent movie that the RNG demanded I see does have a Letterboxd listing, and I'm the only one who's seen or reviewed it according to Letterboxd. Why? Well, like Sticky Heaven, it is locked behind the walls of academia. Now, I could have just done the underground library loan shark thing again, but in my mind, that takes weeks. Weeks! But then look. WorldCat says it's available at the Getty Research Center. That's 14 miles away from me. Yo, let me hop in this Uber real quick and see what I can do. Okay, it wasn't that easy, actually. More on this later. But now I've basically covered the title of the video. Had I not moved to Los Angeles specifically for grad school, I might not have been able to easily access these 2 obscure art films. And it just so happens that both Slanted Vision and 7 Steps to Sticky Heaven operate in the same exact incredibly niche genre of experimental documentary meditations on gay Asian American maleness. With 7 Steps to Sticky Heaven being on the experimental documentary examining people doing things, and Slanted Vision being more focused on the male Asian and Asian American homoeroticism as it relates to pop culture. As fortune dictates, I got to see these films back to back, so of course I'm going to give you my first-hand review and ranking of these films. Starting with the one I brought back from the dead, of course, 7 Steps to Sticky Heaven. Okay, so if you saw my Lost Media video, you know the story behind my discovering 7 Steps to Sticky Heaven and how I'm not equipped to pronounce the director's name right, and how it's an experimental documentary about gay men in San Francisco, and about how sticky rice is a euphemism for gay Asian men who like gay Asian men, and how it's a literal work of art that was in art museums. Okay, caught up? Well, I finally saw the thing, and I felt like an alien visiting a different planet, a whole secret world. So the first thing you see is a man eating rice. And it's interspersed with interviews with some gay Asian dudes talking about the tightrope act that is being a gay Asian dude, and the bizarre stigma and general discomfort that comes with being interested in one of quote unquote your own kind. They talk about the strange experiences they've had where gay white men have felt entitled to their bodies and gotten mad when rejected. They talk about literal physical features that arouse. They talk about the terminology of rice queens and potato queens. It's a pigmentation thing. And how weird it is when all these elements are put together, and these are conversations that invite the audience to truly question the big American question of race as it relates to intimacy and the paradox of the racial lexicon surrounding intimacy. And then they juxtapose the metaphor of cooking rice with the physicality of cooking rice, and you cannot tell if you're looking at someone's hand in a rice cooker or if you're looking at someone's hand in a rice cooker. Now, unfortunately, I cannot place this film in my rankings because it really lets you in. But I'm glad I saw it. An unfiltered look into the sensual reality of some people who are often overlooked by the normative lens. And the same goes for Slanted Vision. Now, in order to see that one, I had to do this whole thing where I had to get an appointment in order to get in the room to view the film. But actually, that freaking appointment was delayed even further because when I put in the request to view the film at the Getty Research Center, they were all like, yo, listen up, Padawan. We actually don't currently have the resources to get this film viewed all that quickly because, my man, it needs to be reformatted for that to happen. So listen up. We asked a reformatting facility to see what they can or can't do, but yo, my man, if they get back to us with a yes, we'll call you. We'll tell you what to do next. When I realized I would have to wait even longer, I also went and put in another interlibrary loan request at the college library, cause who knows, maybe the academic cinematic universe has access to Slanted Vision in more viewable formats. Worth a shot. As it turns out, my school was able to secure a viewable copy really fast. Like, ridiculous fast. I mean, what does this say about the power of the halls of academia in the conservation of artistic cinematic work? I mean, man, I love school. It's expensive, but I love it. Now my trip to the Getty Research Center can be like a field trip, you know? I can get a library card, hang out for a little bit, borrow that book on Pauline Kael that Amazon failed to deliver to me that I need for my graduate school thesis. Don't get distracted, boy. Where there's a will, there's a way. Now, Slanted Vision is a video art piece by a person who is currently a professor of media studies at Pitzer College named Mingyuen S. Ma. And this guy is a capital A academic, okay? He does all his own stunts, bro. I mean, look at the homepage of this boy's website. Is that French I'm reading? My goodness. Anyways, Slanted Vision has its own page on the website, and whoa, look at all these collaborators. Hey, I know that guy. I just saw his Sticky Heaven. I mean, I'm not that surprised that gay Asian video artists in 1995 knew each other and collaborated a bunch. Of course that's the case, but it's still super cool to see. Anyways, when it comes to the movie itself, where do I even start? I guess I'll start with the fact that, like Seven Steps, it's also disqualified from the official rankings for showing quite a bit of, action. But my goodness, that was a true work of art, I say. I am the only soul to have reviewed this thing on The Box, so I really gave it my all. And honestly, I think I'm just gonna read it verbatim, okay? Ahem. Now, this was absolutely fascinating. There is so much to unpack here, and by unpack, I mean, quote, mass media's recurrent directive to eliminate the I and the me and the various parts of the I and the me happen to be not white. Me, looking, judging, adjusting, affirming. That was me quoting my favorite part. This piece of video art is an immersive and microscopically targeted examination of the eroticization of the Asian body and its intersection with racial politics, the taboo tug-of-war that occurs when that interacts with the idea of sexual power, the interaction between Orientalist narrative and fetish, the demanding expectation of invisibility, and the secretive deterioration of hegemonic power when the door is closed, the wife is gone, and the AIDS has gotten worse. I normally don't use language like this when I review things, but I gotta meet the film where it's at. What an experience. Yep, yes sir, that was art, man. And that review really encompasses all the things I was thinking about while viewing it, and all that it was inviting me to think about. I gotta say, it was well worth the wait. That said, I would be remiss to not discuss the current state and popularity of Asian and Asian American cinema as it exists in the United States in 2023. Because, it's become a trend, hasn't it? And what I find interesting about this trend is that Asian American cinema has become Asian Americana. Why are the straight narratives the most popular? Shouldn't we be a little more challenging, push a little bit of envelope? And what about the South Korean beauty industry? Doesn't that form of soft power also play into the social American biases surrounding who gets to be desirable? I mean, Asian Americans have always been around, at least since they've been getting historically exploited while building Thomas the Tank Engine. Why must we relegate the stories that dare to simultaneously challenge the status quo of the United States of America to a traditional, straight immigration story framework? Crazy Rich Asians, Parasite, Minari, Past Lives, Joyride. Good movies, but they scream straight sensibility, do they not? And I mean, the only exception I can think of is E.I.E.I.O., but even then, it's largely a surface-level coming-out anxiety narrative, especially in comparison to what these awesome Asian American auteurs were doing in the 90s. Greg Araki! Where are you? Save us, Greg Araki. Now, don't get me wrong, this Asian Americana is great, and these movies are great, but come on, everybody. Let's pull ourselves together. Let's increase the biodiversity. Let's expand this representation accordion a bit. In comparison to these films that I've had to jump through many hoops to see, sorry, Joe Butapaki, you're basic. We shouldn't have to be jumping through hoops to be celebrating these outliers. More people should know about this. Maybe there should be a gay agenda, at least about this. So if you like what I'm selling, tell your friends. Start a movement. I don't know, I did my part by letting you know that these movies even exist. The rest is in your hands. So yeah, that's the end of my soapbox portion. Next time, oh man, Karina Longworth talked about freaking Jade already. I thought the erotic 90s was gonna cover it post-hiatus. So I might talk about the erotic thrillers I've seen so far, and that's already a lot. And she doesn't cover all of them, so yeah. Next time, erotic thrillers in specifically 1995. The ones you know, the ones Karina knows, and the ones neither of y'all know. Yeah, that'll be a fun time.